Sex and Violence with Rebel Girl is presented by UFC Fight Pass. See the best that UFC Fight Pass has to offer on the Fight Pass 24/7 stream, offering a constant channel of historic fight action all day, all night. Tune in, sit back, and enjoy a network created by fans for fans. Step into our world. UFCFightPass.com.
Sex and violence. Sex and violence. Sex and violence. Sex and violence.
Hey guys, welcome back to Sex and Violence with Rebel Girl, presented by UFC Fight Pass, the show that interviews top-level MMA fighters and other experts in their fields about love, dating, romance, and that all-too-taboo subject, sex. I'm your host, Ashley Rebel Girl Evan Smith. Now let's talk about sex and violence.
What's happening, hot stuff?
What is up, my naughty listeners? We're back with a new episode. Actually, we were supposed to have this episode the week of Thanksgiving, I believe, but my bad. I actually had some technical difficulties. I forgot my laptop. That's what happened, okay? I tried to blame it on the studio and all the technical stuff, but I forgot my fucking laptop. But I'm making it up to you guys today because this episode was fucking awesome. It killed. He's awesome. But before we talk about the guest, let me tell you about what's going on with me. I've had a really busy week, just a buttload of podcasting. I was on the Steph Infection podcast with our former guest, comedian Steph Tolov. Funny woman. The podcast, I don't know when it's coming out, but I will definitely tell you guys when it's available. I was on the Jason Ellis podcast yesterday, and that's coming out in the future as well. And I want to tell you very quickly about a couple events that are coming up. January 21st, so next month, you have Submission Only Series 9. That's the Pro Team Duels. I keep talking about this to you guys, and if you are a fan of grappling, then you know these tournaments are super fun. They are in Vs.Wolf Studios in downtown LA, so it's really like a different vibe. It's not like in a high school gym, and it's not bougie either. It's just a very chill vibe. There's a bar, it's a fun place. So check it out at Submission Only Series on Instagram. And if you want to get tickets ahead of time, it's submissiononlyseries.com. January 28th, that's Up Next Fighting number 4. You guys know I've been working with them as their cage side commentator, just doing the post-fight interviews, and I'm absolutely loving this job. I definitely see this as something I will be doing far into the future. And this organization is The Tits Guys. It's brand new, but they're really killing it. They're putting a lot of effort into kind of the pomp and circumstance of everything, meaning, the fights are great and the matchups are amazing. It does not disappoint. But in addition to that, there's always some kind of opening ceremony, and they do a lot of just kind of like cool stuff surrounding it, if you guys know what I mean. So check it out. If you don't know what I mean, check it out as well. Tickets actually are not quite on sale yet, but it will be at the Commerce Casino. And when they are on sale in the very near future, you can get those tickets at upnextfighting.com. Check them out on Instagram at upnextfighting. We are still looking for a sex and violence intern. I have hit a couple of you back, and I haven't done very many interviews, but I just want to put it out there. If you guys are listening to the show and you think that you have any kind of marketing research or social media experience, marketing experience or social media experience, and you want to work with our team, please send me an email to our email, and that is sexandviolencepodcast@gmail.com. And a few other little reminders. You can always support the show by going to our website and purchasing some merch. That's sexviolencewithrebelgirl.com. We got shirts and hats and beanies and all that crap. So please buy something because that helps us pay the bills and keep the show going. And if you do want to sponsor the show and help us out that way, you can also send an email to sexandviolencepodcast@gmail.com. And you can also support me by following my exclusive fan time site. That is ashleyrebelgirl.com. That's where I post all the naughty pictures and videos. It's pretty much like OnlyFans, but much better. And I always tell you every week, guys, please do it. If you have not, rated, rate and review the show for us. It takes 2 seconds, but it really helps us out. And if you're listening right now on Apple Podcast, stop, pause the show, and go click in the right-hand corner, the little arrow sign, the plus sign, so we can, basically get little updates for whenever we have new podcasts and all that crap. And it takes 2 seconds, and it helps us out, okay? That is it, guys. Now let's talk to our guest. Today's guest is an Australian skateboarder, fighter, comedian, podcaster, New York Best Times author of the book I'm Awesome, a dad, a husband, and a proud member of the LGBTQ fam. He was the host of the Jason Ellis Show on Sirius XM, which aired from 2005 to 2020. He is currently the host of the Jason Ellis Show and co-host of Hawk Vs.Wolf alongside skateboarding legend Tony Hawk. His most recent endeavor, stand-up comedy. We talk about new OnlyFans account adventures, the edge of choking in bed, his inspirational sexual journey, epic training with Dominic Cruz, ending sex, trans, and gay stigmas, birthday foursome with wife, dick adrenaline dumps, shutting internet haters up, sexual bucket list, Whitney Cummings, communication for healthy open marriage, new sex etiquette from being a bottom, difference between a power bottom and a bottom, peeing on friends, dreams of a tensome. Here is your guest, Jason Ellis. Jason Ellis for the second time, one of our only returning guests, actually. Jason, thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for being on my show too.
Yeah, that was a blast.
You were a really good guest.
Was I?
Yeah. I get weird with fighters because sometimes, especially just athletes in general, they've been doing sport their whole life. They don't talk for a living. But yeah, I keep forgetting that you have a show, but you did really well. I thought you did anyway.
Thank you. I mean, also you kept it pretty basic as far as like fighting talk and stem cells. Like if you ask me about other stuff, I'm going to sound like an asshole, but I know about fighting.
Right. Me too. I don't really know. I didn't know what else I was going to ask you either.
When I first walked in, I think you guys were doing a Patreon and you guys were talking about jellyfish and how they eat from their tentacles. And I was like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
Yeah, that's my fault. I smoke a lot of weed.
No, it's all good. I do too.
I think the mushrooms and all that stuff just in my space cadet mind always comes up with stupid. That's how the show got big. Was I think my first show ever where I was just a DJ. I was talking about how Slipknot should make a cereal and there should be a pizza burger where it's a burger but there's a slice of pizza in the middle. Like I was always just making up. What if you thought of the dumbest shit ever? That was kind of my job.
And so you were on mushrooms or marijuana or?
No, back then that was just weed. Yeah,
just weed.
I did a lot of mushrooms when I was a kid, but not to help me in any way, just to be high.
Yeah.
And then when I stopped doing drugs and stopped drinking, then I microdosed, and then I did a cup. I don't really like tripping. I don't like being completely gone. Past that.
I like it, but there's always this sick period beforehand that I have to go through. And I don't know if everybody goes through it, but I always throw up and Mike says that I fight it and I just have to let it happen. I'm like, no, if I feel sick, I'm going to fucking fight it as hard as I can. And I guess there's like some kind of technique where you just go with it. And I don't really know how to go with the fucking flow.
I think it's practice, but then you have to fight a lot before you can feel good about it or relaxed about it.
For sure.
Yeah.
So
stressful.
It sucks, but it's also cool. Yesterday on your podcast, we talked about a few things that I want to talk about on my show, but I guess we can pretend like I don't know. But the last time we spoke was 2 years ago, and you were preparing to fight Luis J. Gomez.
Yeah.
But this motherfucker let the fans know what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know for sure. He posted one video saying that when he runs, it's hard to run, and if he can't, but he didn't heard it. You would know this too. Like listening to him say it, he said that his knees are, he can barely run, and he doesn't know why. He didn't hurt them. He didn't get them tweaked. They just got so sore that he could no longer run anymore. And I feel like, for me, if there's an injury from running where nothing popped or made a noise, it just like started to ache, you're a bitch. Like that's not enough. Like something needs to go bing and you go, ah, and then you go to the hospital and you get an MRI and they go, yeah, you tore your blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't even, he's like, I got an x-ray and now they're saying I've got a torn meniscus, but I have to get an MRI. And I'm like, you're so far behind. You're not trying to fight. Like, you're not trying to fight me. It was very apparent that he was already trying to bow out. And he's no longer returning my text messages. So
Okay.
I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's secretly pretending not to train so that I don't train. And then he's like, yeah, I'm still in. But
That would be sneaky as fuck.
It won't make no difference. I could get off the couch right now and beat the shit out of that guy. I don't need any cardio. I'm not worried about it, but I will. Go ahead.
You guys were planning to fight in 2023. What was the date?
April 8th. Like, it's my event. It's happening. That's the other bad thing about it. The main event is now, I think, canceled, but I don't know because the guy I'm fighting will no longer return my text messages.
Maybe
I told him get an MRI, and then if you do have a torn meniscus, you can get PRP, and then you can get cortisone shots, and you can do a 6-month camp, and you can fight. That's what I would do. And I wouldn't run. I would use the bike, maybe swim. Like, I already have.
Yep.
When this is official and he actually gets back to me and says, I can't fight because I've got a torn meniscus, I'm going to ask for the MRI. Then I'm going to get my MRI on both my knees and show a doctor both of them and ask who has the worst knees. And when it's officially I have the worst knees, I'm going to go on a fucking tear on this guy because I'm too old. I'm 51. I've got a bunch of shows, kids, my wife. Like, I got a lot of comedy. I'm trying to do stand-up. Yeah. I'm trying to like write jokes. But instead, when I wake up in the morning, I think about how I'm going to beat the shit out of this guy and how, worst case scenario, how I'm going to get out of it and make him pay for it. Like, I put a lot of mental. I was going to fight. We're going to fight for, I think, 2 years now.
Yeah. 2 years. We were talking about it. You had knee problems. I had
a cadaver knee replacement.
Mm-hmm. And I watched you heal from that, and that was badass. And I've been following you ever since, and we've become friends. And now my boyfriend is your jiu-jitsu coach, and life is crazy. So if you don't fight Lewis, what about a stand-in opponent? Or you just really want to beat Lewis's ass?
I don't even really want to beat him. I'm kind of past fighting. Like, I don't have anything else to prove.
You don't.
And I don't. Jim, I'm doing an interview. Sorry.
That's your cat?
Yeah, he does it all the time, especially when I'm doing interviews. His name's Gimli, but I call him Jim or Jim Lee or Jim P. He has many names.
I can hear him.
Yeah. Shut up, Jim B.
Well, you don't have anything to prove. And that's why I was going to ask you. It's like, you're 51. Not that that's too old to fight, especially since we can all understand that you're probably more skilled than Lewis and would probably beat him easily if he's not training and he's bitching out over a knee tendonitis or some shit, it sounds like.
You know what it is too.
Yeah.
We both know what it is.
You just swim.
Sore.
You just swim, or you bike, or you air dine, or you just get the shit done, you know? You have a real fighter mentality, Jason. He does not. He's a comedian, obviously.
That's my good friend Eddie Jackson, who's a real fighter. He has been telling me for the last 2 years, he's like, I'm telling you, this guy is not what you think he is. He's not about that life.
No.
That's how Eddie talks.
Yeah.
He's like, he wants to act like he's going to be a part of it. Cause that's what I told him, the same thing. I was like, if your knees are hurt, this is the game. This is the fight game. Like, everybody who fights, good guys, bad guys, they're all hurt. this is the game. Like, you never go in like feeling like, man, I'm 100%.
Yeah.
My training camp, no one hurt me. Like, bullshit. Everybody's hurt. It's here. Like, how much do you want it? And I was like, I'm trying to give you a taste of a real fight. Like people have given me.
Yeah.
And you don't want to do it because you're injured. It's just, I just can't believe that I said yes in the first place. I should have known that this was all bullshit.
Whatever. Now you can focus more energy on the stand-up comedy, on the other podcasts that you have. You've got the Ellis podcast, obviously, but you also have Hawk versus Wolf with Tony Hawk. Yep. How is that going?
It's going good.
Yeah.
We actually moved podcast production companies, and we just signed with Melka. They do Mike Tyson's podcast.
Whoa.
So it's been a lot of work, and because we shifted, we have no read, so we're not making any money right now, but we're investing, and we believe that the show has a lot of potential, and so does Melka. So it's like rebuilding again at an early stage. It's kind of annoying, but I think it'll work out.
So I haven't checked out Hawk versus Wolf. I have obviously the Jason Ellis podcast, but what is it about? Do you guys have on guests? Is it just open forum?
It's either just Tony and I talking about skateboarding and life. And then, we have guests. That's the other reason we sign with these Melka guys, because they're giving us A-list celebrities every episode.
Nice.
Because right now, every now and then we get like a Rodney Mullen, and everybody loved that. That was like 500,000 downloads, and then Bobby Lee was like 250,000. But then some of the shows are like 40,000, and I'm like, man, that's not good. That's bad. So we're trying to.
Mic is a hard thing to do.
Right, the only person that can do that is Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Nobody else can book Rodney Mullen.
What's it like working with one of your best friends on the podcast?
It's not a job. It's the easiest, most fun thing that I get paid for, or I used to get paid for, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I love talking to Tony off the mic. It's a dream come true to me, because he's the king of skateboarding, and I'm a skateboarder, and I'm the co-host of the show that Tony Hawk's on. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
It's badass. So I want to know, is it okay to bring up what we talked about at the end of your show? Talking about, remember you were sharing some stuff on Twitter, your new endeavor, making money?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So you now have an OnlyFans, correct?
yeah.
All right. Yeah. Tell us about that, because that's one way to make money. I started my own fan time, which is basically like OnlyFans, but different, a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the difference is, I know you tried to argue with me, but you're really hot and I'm really not. And I feel like most of my audience didn't want to see my penis. So I don't think I'm getting too many fans on OnlyFans that are from the Jason Ellis Show.
But you just started, right?
I did just start.
Like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, and I hired a company, and I go on there now, and I see that somebody's talking as me, and because they talk to me and ask me what I like and things that I'll do and all that kind of stuff, and I'm pretty much up for everything. Nice. I've always been, I don't want to say anything negative about it, but I'm pretty creepy. I like doing all kinds of stuff, and I'm not ashamed of it. So,
will you try anything once?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Maybe twice, just to make sure.
I love it. So what?
Yeah, so that's weird. It's weird, but I do like it. Like even without the money, because there isn't any in it right now. It's something that if everybody disappeared and I didn't have opinions, I would do with a big smile on my face. I'm very proud of the things that I like to do. I feel like sex is some sort of like, ooh, how could you expose yourself? And I'm like, your dad fucked your mom, dude. You know what I mean? Like it's people have dicks and vaginas, like, yep. And I've got one, and you probably knew I had one the whole time. And yeah, I put it in things. I don't know. Everyone has their own thing. And if you find that offensive, you don't have to look at it.
Yeah.
But it's something that I've always wanted to do. I don't know if that's
the
just something I've always wanted to do.
Was
I've always, yeah. being in porn looked really cool to me because I really like sex. It's like a sport. I'm like, I love MMA and I think about it a lot and I watch it a lot. I don't watch porn that much, but I do. There's a skill to it especially when you're shooting. Like there's things you've got to do, and when you do them well, it's kind of like winning a fight. Like you did a really good job, and
Yeah.
and the person that I'm usually working with has been doing this for a long time. And they're like, "Wow, good job," and I'm like,
Yeah.
thank you. I feel really good about myself.
It's great to get
I don't know.
praise in the gym, but it's even better to get praise in the bedroom for sure.
Right? That's what's up. And it goes both ways because I have failed as well, and
What would
it
a
was
fail
tough.
be in the bedroom?
Oh, I'll tell you, it's only happened one time, and it was the biggest time. My 51st birthday, my wife rented this crazy mansion, like such a crazy house. And then, I have a lot of friends in the industry, and Katie obviously has a lot of friends. She has an OnlyFans, and she organized 3 really hot tattooed girls and Katie. So it was 4 girls and me and a filmer.
So what happened?
Okay, so as soon as it started, it was like a long day, and I thought it was going to start at lunchtime, but it didn't pop off until about 5 in the afternoon. And by then, they like had a few drinks, and then it was sort of like out of nowhere. They're like, "Let's go," and they're like, "They'll all be on the bed, and then you'll come on the bed," and I'm like, "Okay," and it was just like a lot of pressure.
Was Katie directing you?
No, the cameraman was,
Oh, okay, yeah.
which was uncomfortable. I didn't really know him, and now I'm like, here's my butthole, dude. Like that was uncomfortable, and I think I got a little nervous, and my dick wasn't working that well.
Damn
And
it.
I was like, no, not now. Like of all times, you and me, dude, we can't it's not this one. This is the biggest one of your life. Like I'm 51. Nope, there's no way 4 chicks that hot are ever going to want to do this again. I fucking blew it. So I got the one girl that it was just so hot. I didn't even know her until she got there that day. So I started doing it with her, and everybody else is around grabbing on me everywhere. And I think I might have like almost finished enough to like make it go down even more. And then I was like, oh my God, you're soft around 4 hot chicks on video. So I like pulled out of this scene, and then they finished by themselves. And I was just,
Fuck.
it was my birthday. So I was trying to stay upbeat. One of my friends who was on the bed, she was like, "Don't do it, Jason. You're okay. It's not a big deal. This happens to people." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
That's a lot of fucking pressure, Jason.
That's what they all said.
Come on.
But I just told you that when I do well in these situations, it's such I lost the fight. I lost the fight, actually.
I understand that mentality. I understand that.
Right. And I was like, I prided myself on being a champion of that particular sport, and I fucking lost.
But there's always rematches.
I told them that. I don't know if they're down for it, but I was like, I want a fucking rematch. Like that's not me. I promise it's not me.
So did you learn your lesson about the camera guy?
I just know I didn't eat all day because I thought that we were going to do it in the morning, and the nervousness. And then we were shooting photos the whole day where I'm naked and they're naked, and they're all just like holding on to me and stuff. And I was like, is it happening right now? Like, am I supposed to get hard right now? Because I don't know. And they were just used to it.
Yeah.
And I think them being so used to it and me not being used to it, and these ladies being so fucking hot. And I was like, should I like grab one of them right now? Or are you going to suck me off right now? Because I'm not sure. Am I supposed to be hard for the photo, or am I supposed to be
was your dick like getting hard and then going down and getting hard and going? Maybe it was like a dick adrenaline dump. You know what I mean? Like,
oh wow.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know what it was, but it was
because he just got so excited, and and he's just like, when it was time to shine, he was like, "Fuck you, Jason. This is not gonna happen."
Yeah, maybe that's what happened, but either way, whatever happened, it was fucking terrible.
With the camera guy, so I'm fucking insecure as shit, especially about my body. And the first time I had to get like, half naked in front of this guy, his name's Eddie, I was super embarrassed, but then I kept working with him and now I'm super comfortable. So I'm wondering if you just keep the same camera guy, he's already seen your butthole, like no worries. No?
Yeah, I know. I filmed something after that later that night, and I was back.
Okay.
So I think it was just I ate some food, and there was like an hour break, and then there was another person that came that wanted to film with me. So that one, it was a great birthday.
Best party ever.
It could have been better, Ashley. It could have been better. Yeah.
It's all good. So what's something about OnlyFans and being a new porn star, I guess, if you will, that has
No, I'm not.
You are. What's
star
something
is a little over the top. You can't put star on the end of it.
Okay, porn entertainer,
Sure,
adult
there you
film
go.
entertainer. Yeah. So
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
something that surprised you about it that you weren't expecting? Besides maybe a little bit more shyness than normal.
Well, I think different people filming with different people. Some people are just they put the phone in a spot and they go, and then some people have proper cameras and they want to do a couple of minutes from this angle, then stop, reset the camera, and then more from this angle, different position. Like some people put a lot more work into it than others.
Yeah.
And the ones that put a lot of work into it I like that more because it seems like more professional. And I feel like I feel like it's more professional, it seems like it's more important to rise to the occasion. So I feel like I do better when somebody's filming in a way where I'm like, oh shit, this is like serious. This person's putting a lot of work into it. I better step up to the plate. Like I better do really well.
Yeah.
So I feel like those are the things that I notice. Some of the girls that I've worked with are pretty laid back. It's just like, okay, go. And I'm like, we're just fucking, right? Like this isn't even, do you even know that there's a camera? Like
No.
And then some people are very serious about it.
Is Katie always there?
Nah, not all the time.
Man.
No, we film a lot together. Most of her OnlyFans is me, or her by herself, or her with a couple of her girlfriends. She's less of a, I'm not very picky, I like everybody. I've never had sex with her. So yeah.
Yeah.
And it might not be like, sometimes Katie's like, really? And I'm like, well, you can say no. And she's like, I kind of want to. And I'm like, okay, well then no. But if it was me living by myself, I'd probably say yes to everybody. Because I haven't had sex with them yet. And I want to know what it's like.
Well, that compliment earlier, I'm just going to take that and throw that out the window.
I didn't, but I don't want to.
You look so
Don't
beautiful,
do that.
Ashley. P.S. I think everyone's hot.
Didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Okay.
I said I would probably have sex with everybody. I'm not saying that I think they're hot.
Okay.
I'm saying sometimes, because sometimes it's not the look. Sometimes there's I feel like a connection with somebody where I'm like, I'm pretty sure if we had sex, it'd be really good.
Yeah.
And they're not like, whatever your classic beautiful woman or trans men, trans women and guys. Like, I feel like it's more of a sexual connection that I feel before we do it, where I'm like, I can tell that this is going to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that one, I've always been like that. I used to do this thing at the airport where if I was in the line at the airport for a long time, I would look at everybody in the airport and try to decide who is the second person that I'd want to have sex with the most in the line. And
second
it would always,
person?
yeah, because the first one's easy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
If it's like some super hot chick, it's like, yeah, of course I want to fuck her the most.
Okay.
But then I look for all the other people on there and I'm like, whoa, that person, yep, that's the second person that I would, and it's usually not that hot. It's something weird. They might have something, just some weird thing, big ass, or just one thing, or like a really flat ass. I don't know, just something really weird. I'm like, ooh, I've never done that.
Are you into anything weird or specific right now?
Um, Weird. Well, I think since I've been filming, because I know that you talk to the other person about what they like and what they don't like, and sometimes, especially my look, I think a lot of women think that I'm going to be aggressive and
I would
and
assume that.
right. See, but I don't. I mean, I can do that, and sometimes I do like doing that. But a lot of the times, I'm pretty soft and slow and
Passionate.
kind. I don't want to. I kind of like that more. Like
All
I
right.
feel like sometimes my wife wants to get. This is weird saying this, but because she's just walking around in the kitchen. But
Hey, Katie.
Ashley says hello. Says hello. But sometimes, oh man, is it okay if I say you like to be like a slut sometimes?
Just say what you're gonna say.
She likes to be treated like a little whore.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Mike calls me his dirty little slut all the time, when we're
Hey.
fucking.
Okay, so sometimes, yeah, so sometimes I think that comes out, but I'm still a little untrusting of myself when it comes to, like some girls are like, choke me in it, and I'm like, yeah, okay, and it's like harder, and I'm like, are you sure? Because you know what I mean, a couple more pounds and you're gonna get lightheaded.
Yeah.
Because I know enough from jujitsu. I'm like, if I put this forearm across this bit and push on it, you're
Yeah.
gonna fucking faint. So, and some girls are like, yeah, and I'm like, and like you're calling my bluff, and it's working. I don't want you to go out.
Has
I don't
someone
off on that.
ever asked you, like, please put me out, or have you
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
accidentally done it?
No, I got it pretty down. Thanks to jujitsu and fucking a lot, I feel like I can feel your body start to, when you're starting to get choked and you feel like the fuzzy thing come on.
Yeah.
I just-
Or there's like, that noise where they're making,
Right.
you're like, oh, okay, that's not sexy anymore.
Well, see, the Adam's apple. That's the other thing I've learned. The Adam's apple push. That's not how you choke. You push. You can push on here, but all the pressure needs to come into the side
Yep.
because you're going to hurt the Adam's apple. Sorry, you're going to hurt the trachea.
Well, it depends on who you're
Depending-
banging. but-
Exactly. Depending. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I'm more like the last person I worked with. They said that I don't really like being choked really hard or whatever. And I was like, just so you know, I'm not like dead set on being aggressive and slapping you around. And they were like, oh, well then, yeah, if you want to be really soft, that would be great. And I was like, okay, cool, because I like doing that. And they were like, really? I'm like, yes, really. But I remember thinking like, oh, they thought that I was going to come in and be like, fucking, you know what I mean? Like, take it, you fucking bitch.
Well, Jason, I mean, look at me. Like, I would think that most people probably don't think I'm a delicate love. You know what I mean? They probably don't think I'm a schoolgirl. They probably be like, oh, that bitch, she looks like freak in bed or something, right?
Right. Well, I mean, okay, yeah, but when I see you, I'm like, I don't judge you for that. I'm like, you got a lot of tattoos. You're very fit. Sure, you might be into that stuff, but this is super weird again because I love your boyfriend, but I sometimes I think that maybe you guys just have romantic sex and nobody calls anybody a slut and nobody gets slapped in the face.
Yeah.
Either one would not surprise me.
Yeah.
I don't think that you're just, a rebel girl just wants to be beat the fuck out. I don't think that. I never thought that.
No, I think everybody probably wants a little bit of both, maybe. No?
Yeah, I feel like we're really similar and we're all hiding because nobody wants to get called out for being the thing that not everybody does.
Yeah.
But I feel like everybody wants a little bit of everything, just like all of us.
You've come so far in your sexuality journey, if you will. The first episode we had you on, for you listeners, it was episode 12. We're now on 125. So go back, give that a listen. It's such an entertaining listen because I didn't really know your full story. And now the man that I am talking to right now, just all confident, talking about banging on OnlyFans. I'm like, wow, what a journey it's been.
I'm not that confident. I'm just doing what I love, and I think from having like a heart problem and being in doctor's offices and being on the bed with heart monitors and people telling me that I might need a heart replacement and real death scares, where I was like, okay, so I might have a couple more years. I probably won't, but it could happen. Like my heart could stop. So I'm not living it for your opinion. Like I'm living my life. I don't know how much longer I've got, and I'm doing what makes me happy. And I'm not hurting anybody.
No.
So
in fact, you're doing the opposite, in my opinion. You're
my
really,
opinion too.
yeah, you're giving other people, someone to look up to and go, hey, if this guy can do it in front of all these people, why can't I do it? Even behind closed doors.
A little bit. I mean, I feel like I don't mind posting sex stuff on Twitter. And if someone's like, really, you're going to have sex with a trans girl? I'm like, yeah, she's really hot.
Why
I really
the fuck
like
not?
her. And yeah, if you can all, it's official. I like trans women.
Yeah.
Suck a butt. I don't care. I want to live my life. Like the same as, my kids get older and they're like, Dad, did you really do that? I'm like, yes, what I wanted to do. You don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Like but when you get older and you want to do what you want to do and everyone's telling you don't do it, fuck everybody else.
Yeah.
Fuck, they're not living your life. Like this is your one life on this planet. Do what makes you happy.
I love that. I do want to go back to the trans thing, but so when did you get the heart news? Is this old news or is this something new? Because I didn't know.
Okay, well, I had...
Not to bring the show down.
It's okay. My heart went into AFib maybe over 10 years ago, and it got shocked back in. And then I had a procedure called an ablation where they go in your groin and they fuse some valve in your heart. And sometimes it's successful and sometimes it's not, but it was successful. And I had like one of the best cardiologists in the world working with me, because at first they diagnosed me with heart disease. And then I went and saw a specialist and he was like, you don't have heart disease. You've got this thing that a lot of people get, and alcohol can trigger it. That's another reason why I quit drinking. Nice. But I had it go into AFib, I think 3 times over the period of 10 years. And then the last one was like 3 years ago, I think, something like that. And that was when they were like, if I was you, I would take it easy on the drinking because that could trigger it. And that's when they said that I might, my heart's getting bigger and I might need a heart transplant in 10 years. So when I'm 60, I would have to have a heart transplant. And then I got on these pills, these heart pills that are supposed to slow your heart from growing, and they make you tired. So it's harder to like do stuff now, but my brain can beat my heart any day. So I just get up and do it anyway. But that and not doing HGH, the doctor said your heart stopped growing, and he thinks that I might be fine. He's like, if you keep taking this pill and you don't do the HGH, your heart's going to stay the same size, and he thinks that I don't need a heart replacement all of a sudden.
That's amazing.
So, right. But it's never going to, I have a thing, my heart jumps a lot, irregular beats. A lot of people have this, but it happens to me like 10 times a day. And when it happens, every time I go, is this it?
Oh, shit. That's fucked up.
It is.
That is. So now I really, truly understand the mentality of like, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want to do because maybe tomorrow's not promised. Well, tomorrow's not promised for anybody, but, when you have a fucking mini little heart skip every 10 seconds.
The way I see it, as long as I don't die, it's a blessing, because it constantly reminds me that this is my one shot, and whatever you were going to do with your life and what experiences you wanted to experience, you better get to it.
Yeah.
So that's why, another reason why Louis J. Gomez is a bitch, because if I'm going to do sprints, like to me, my doctor said I could do it. He said, I don't know what's going to happen, but as far as I can tell, you have a healthy heart. So you could do a fight. But honestly, if I was not to redline my heart like 3 days a week, for the rest of my life. I don't think that would be that bad. I would kind of actually prefer that. Like every now and then I'll go spar and I'll do it. But if you just keep pushing it, I don't like that. I would rather not do that. You know?
I was really all for your kind of last hurrah, this fight. I was really excited. I was telling Mike, like, obviously, I was hoping he would corner you and we go out there. It would be awesome, right?
Me too.
But now I'm like, Jason, please slow the fuck down. I like you. I would like you to stick around for a little longer. So I don't know about that fight. You said it the other day. You said yesterday, I don't have anything to prove. And you don't. Like, why just take a chill pill for a little while?
Well, I told you that I wanted to give him the opportunity because I love fighting and it's I'm way past my prime. And there's a lot of people in MMA and boxing, all that stuff that have given me a taste. You want to see what it's really like to fight somebody at a high level? Yeah, I do. I really do. And they've given that to me. And I feel like it's always been a silver spoon way of I've been treated where, Keith Jardine is a friend of mine and he sparred me. Wow. And he was like, I started going hard on him. He was like, oh, really? And then he beat the shit out of me. I've fought Jake Ellenbergers and Uriah Faber and Kit Copes and Forrest Griffin, Shane Cowan, all these people that have given me a taste. And I feel like a little kid in a candy store, like it's Christmas. Like these are the people that I look up to, and they're Dominic Cruz took me to his gym, and was like, you can stay at my house, and they started sparring me and really trying to hurt me. And then after the sparring, he was like, "You're gonna win this fight," and I'm like, "How's that?" And he's like, "Because I wanted to see what you would do if I rocked you." And how you were going to react. And he's like, the way you reacted tells me that this guy has no fucking chance because there's no quit in you. And that's one of the biggest parts. So he was mentally preparing me and physically preparing me, showing me this. He's like, this is what I do for fight camp. It's like a secret. Don't show anybody. This little sprint thing that he has on a treadmill.
Dope.
He really passed down a lot of stuff. And I look up to Dominic Cruz, and for him to give me his time, fully. His time was, we went to the gym for a couple of days in a row where he was just about Jason. We were sparring, just learning stuff while sparring, working on the bag, footwork stuff, little drills. At one point he showed me a drill and then I posted it, and then Uriah Faber was like, ha ha, you think that's going to work? You don't have Dominic Cruz's legs. And I was like, fuck you. I'm doing, this guy is sharing cool shit. Sure, it probably won't work because I don't have his footwork, but it was just, those experiences are the greatest experiences in my life. I'll never forget those.
For
They're
sure.
so cool.
But you know what? With Lewis, I don't think you have that fighter mentality where you like being tested, and you know what I mean?
Right.
Lewis could be a normal person where they get into the ring with Dominic Cruz and it's the worst fucking experience of their life.
Right.
They're like, I never want to do that ever again. Me, a lot of our friends are crazy fucks, and we're like, let's do that again. I almost died. I love it. So maybe Lewis is not like that if he's got knee tendonitis and he's already over here kind of complaining. You're trying to do him this great favor of show him what it's like to experience this thing that most people don't get to experience, but he may not want it. So why waste your good heart years? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. But like I said, if he calls me tomorrow and says my knee is good enough to fight, I'm going to be pumped because it's a good way to go out. I want one more. I want to fight somebody that always, blah, blah, blah. I could probably beat this guy and I could probably beat that guy. And I'm like, Jason Ellis is a 51-year-old skateboarder. It's not that big of a claim to beat me, but I just want him to know, I will destroy you, and just know that everybody else, the real fighters in the world, they run circles around me. So recognize and respect these athletes because you will never be them.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I always knew. I'm pretty tough for a normal guy, but I've always, I remember talking to Logan Paul and he's like, I could beat this guy, I could beat that guy. And I'm like, dude, seriously, be honest with me because I know I could beat your ass. And I'm not claiming that I could beat fucking, you know what I mean, all the people you claim. He's like, you think? And I'm like, I fucking know, dude. And he won't fight me. I went to his podcast. I was like, I'll fight you today. I brought my gloves.
You told
And he
Logan
wouldn't do
Paul
it.
that you could beat his ass.
Yeah,
Really?
I know I could.
Logan Paul? That's the one that's been beating all these.
No, Jake Paul's the better
Oh,
boxer.
my bad.
Logan's not as good.
God,
But I could beat his ass too.
I love it. I love it. Well, shit. And
There you go. I would take that fight. There you go.
Okay.
If they go, hey man, we want to scrap, I'd be like, yeah, for my career, sure, I'll fight you.
and definitely for content for comedy purposes, right?
Yeah, I can't. I mean, dude, those guys are so big. If I can't lose even when I lose.
For
You know?
sure.
It's like Ben Askren, but I mean, I that's not going to happen to me. I'm 1 million times better than Ben Askren at fucking boxing.
Jake Paul and Logan Paul, they
Everybody
are like
is.
the Conor McGregor with the red penny night, huh? Like everybody's lucky, I guess,
Yeah.
to fight them.
That's why I've never asked for it because I realize that I'm nowhere near famous enough. It doesn't even make any sense. Good for you guys, you know, like him fight boxing UFC fighters. I did that.
Yeah.
I did that first.
Yeah,
like
you did.
I fought shit. Who did I knock out? I had a proper boxing fight with who's the guy in the UFC in the Ultimate Fighter, and he didn't make weight and he cried. And everybody made fun of him.
Damn. Zol?
He was a WEC.
Pink hair?
Nah.
Not Let Me Bang Bro. That's what you're thinking of.
No.
Okay.
Before Let Me Bang Bro.
What's
Further
that
back.
guy's name? What's Let Me Bang Bro's
Hey, he
name?
ended up knocking out Kimbo.
He's like he's good. Like at bare knuckle, he's good.
Yeah, did
Oh.
he end up knocking out Kimbo, right?
Kimbo Slice?
I believe he knocked out Kimbo.
I think they're different weight classes.
Yeah, they're way different weight
Yeah,
classes.
yeah. I know.
Okay, no, well, the guy had pink hair knocked Kimbo out with, like, in seconds, I thought.
Oh, Let Me Bang Bro has a shaved head now. He doesn't have pink hair.
Okay.
Yeah. He's got some really bad head tattoos as well.
What's Let Me Bang Bro's name?
I'm looking.
I know, right? That's
Poor guy.
totally fair. I know.
He made it to the UFC. He's doing all this stuff. Let Me Bang Bro. That's his fucking
I
thing.
think, Gabe Rudiger. There you go.
Is that his
Gabe
name?
Rudiger. No,
That's who you.
Gabe,
Okay.
That's who I fought. So Gabe Rudiger used to train at Team Quest, and they would always put because I was in the pro team because I'm a skateboarder and people being nice. And Dan Henderson befriended me, and so did Ryan Parsons. So now I'm training with all those guys, and they would always pair me up with him because he was the lazy one that wasn't as good. So it was fair for him to fight me, and he used to beat me up every weekend. And then somebody on the Jason Ellis Show called, like I was going to box somebody, and I was like, give me some names. And someone said Gabe Rudiger, and I was like, yeah, I could beat him in a boxing fight. Somebody tells Gabe Rudiger, Gabe has my phone number, calls me, and he's not joking. He's very aggressive. He's like, what, you talking shit, dude? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, people are telling me you think you could beat my ass. I'm like, yeah, people brought your name up. Could I beat you in a boxing fight? And I said, yeah. And he's like, oh, yeah? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I'll fucking fight you right now. And I was like, dude, calm down. I thought we were friends. And he's like, no, I'll fight you. And I was like, okay. And I remember the whole training camp thinking, you know, this is where your mouth gets you, Jason. You're about to get your ass handed to you in front of all your fans. And I put a lot of effort into that camp. And he didn't because he thought he was going to fight the same guy that was rolling around with him at Team Quest. And I knocked his ass out clean.
Awesome. That's awesome.
And
Roll the clip
was-
right here. My editor.
yeah, right hook. And then when he went down, Forrest Griffin was dressed as Sasquatch. And yeah, it's Ellis Mania.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
hard to
Okay,
explain.
got it.
So when he went down and the count was over, Sasquatch Forrest Griffin jumped in the ring and pumped his butt.
He humped
While he
his
was-
butt?
He humped his butt while he was
Wow.
still kind of trying to wake up. It was
Forrest
really funny.
Griffin did that?
Yeah. Forrest Griffin used to be at Ellis Mania a lot until the
UFC
bosses
hired
of
him?
the UFC were like, stop going to that event. Jason is an idiot.
Do not associate with those shenanigans over there.
I think Dana White is like, if you work for Dana White, like you can talk to me now and here, but if you go in my boxing ring, you'll be fired. Know
you
that.
think so?
I fought Uriah Faber, and Uriah told me later on that Dana called him and freaked the fuck out on him. Like, he got in a lot of trouble, and that was the last time that anybody in the UFC ever got in the ring at Ellis Mania. Because I also respect Dana White. I love the UFC. I don't want to bum out Dana White. When I heard that I'd made Dana White angry, I was like, fuck. Like, I don't even text him anymore about getting seats because I'm scared that he's going to tell me to fuck off.
What's your opinion on slap fighting? Oh, he almost spit out his coffee. Wow, that's his opinion.
I just told you I didn't want to piss off Dana White.
Okay, my bad.
Ask me my opinion of slap fighting.
How do you not piss off Dana White and be honest about this? Like we all like Dana. We all like our jobs. But at the same time, like, what the fuck? What?
My favorite thing about it was, now I'm going to bury him, is when he said, well, the difference is now when we buy slap fighting is we're going to make it safer than it's ever been. And I'm like, everybody's getting knocked out. What are you fucking talking about? How do you make it safer? Like, they go to get medical attention quicker? You're still giving people concussions guaranteed. It's a guaranteed, not like, oh, I might get, you're getting fucking hit for sure. And everyone, like, standing still and not rolling with it and receiving a palm on the side of the jaw is a concussion. There's no way that you didn't get a concussion from the first slap. The end.
I just don't understand it. We'll leave it at that.
It's because of us. It's because the public will watch it. It will be huge because of it, I bet. And it's going to bum out you guys more than me.
I'm fucking guilty of it. I've been you're scrolling on Instagram, and then you see two hot chicks, super hot chicks, with their boobs all out, and they're just like, ugh. And I'm like, and then she took it like a champ, but I'm like, damn, I don't know if I could take that, And then I'm like, oh no, I'm watching it, like I'm a viewer. I'm like, fuck it.
I just feel like maybe it's a young man's game. Somebody that doesn't read. Yeah, because it's
like he doesn't read.
Right, like I've hit my head skateboarding and motocross and then fighting, and now it's kind of, I used to spar anybody and everybody any day. If anyone asked me, I would just say yes. And it would be full speed. I used to train at Fortune Boxing, and he would say to me, Justin Fortune, I fucking love the guy. Always will. But he is too tough. Like, he would tell me, I remember one time a pro skateboarder came up who'd been training for about 4 years. Pierre-Luc Gagnon, X Games guy. Like, what the fuck? Real good skateboarder. And he got into boxing. Yeah, he got into boxing heavily, like training 5 days a week. And he came up to LA to spar me. And I didn't realize that he wanted to spar until he got there. I thought we were just going to train together. He's like, let's move around. I was like, move around? What do you mean? Move around. He's like, like spar. And I'm like, okay. So I put my mouth guard in and I get under the ropes, and Justin gets in my corner and he goes, listen, you need to knock this fucking cunt out right now. Or if you don't knock this cunt out, I'll fucking knock you out. Got it? And I was like, oh okay. But I remember I wasn't trying to knock him out. PLG. But if I had Justin would have been proud of me. And I'm like, that's not cool. Like, Pierre-Luc is like, I don't know, 180 and isn't as good. And it's like, yeah, come up to my gym and I'll give you brain damage. Good talking to you.
No, we gotta be smarter than that, And I said it the other day. It's like someone taught me about CTE last year, and I know it sounds like, oh, you didn't know about it before that, but no, of course I didn't want to fucking read about how I'm willingly putting my brain in danger every single time I step into the cage. But I accidentally had this conversation with this person, and now I know all this shit about CTE, and I'm like, that's why I'm so upset about the slap fighting. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that would be, I don't know. Look, I feel like a lot of people, depending on who you are, some heads can take a lot more slaps than others. I really do believe that. You know that. You're a fighter. There's people out there that can get hit, and I'm like, it's not doing the same thing that it does to some other people.
Yeah.
But I think eventually, if you keep going, it gets everybody. So there's got to be a time where you go, okay, I've received probably, 500,000 punches to the face. Let's hang it up. And I think the people that don't, people that train really hard, people that fight like for real all through the week. You know, I've been to boxing gyms where I can tell some of the boxers are punchy and they're in their 30s. And I'm like, you're gone. You're gone.
Yeah, that's not good.
You know? And my theory is like, well, I'm working now. My brain's working. I'm like, if I start to, I mean, I have been worried about it. I do forget things. I forget people, but I've been smoking weed since I was like 14.
Yeah.
So I've always been pretty dumb. And I now that from the show and getting sober and like hanging out with smarter people and getting little pieces of information from a lot of brilliant people that I've brushed into or bumped into, and my brain sort of switched on a lot more. I have a lot more intelligence. I'm a lot more common sense. So these days it's like, let's just fight anybody. I'm like, I'm not fighting anybody. Like,
I think that comes with age as well, right? We just get a little smarter. And maybe some of the microdosing. I've started microdosing as well.
Me too. I think that helped.
I can't notice a difference yet, but I'm hoping that it's like healing some
When
of that
did you
trauma.
start?
I feel weird because I haven't taken mine today.
When I had Ian, when did we have Ian McCall on last? That's the last time.
He hooked you up when you got there.
Yeah.
Ian.
Literally, I had that conversation with Ian and I was like, so what we're talking about, I'll meet you at your house. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 months.
I might have
about
to
2
call him.
Yeah. And shout out to Argos. Check him out at Argos on Instagram, microdose mushrooms. So let me talk to you about your comedy because I fucking love it. I've seen you live. I'm a fan.
You have.
Yeah.
You're fucking awesome.
I really,
love you
really
guys for coming.
laughed my fucking ass off, and I tried to be really harsh, you know, like from a friend point of view. I'm like, okay, let's see how he does, and I thought you killed it. I thought you exuded confidence, even though you talked about not having confidence. You looked like a pro up there. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. So how's it been going?
Keep going.
Stroking your ego.
Hey, that's helping.
But I loved it. I had a great time.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying. It's a little bit like surfing because the ramp isn't always there, like to get gigs, because it's really just practice, you know. And you can't get practice doing it in your living room to yourself. You have to be in front of crowds, and it's hard to get in front of crowds. And it's kind of lonely because I don't know anybody, and I usually just go and stand in the corner until my name's called out, and then I go up and I do my thing. But
really?
I would say
lonely though, because you seem like the kind of guy that would make a friend at the grocery store.
I'm terrible like that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, super anti.
I did not know that.
I get uncomfortable. I get insecure. I'm very confident and also very insecure at the same time. So if I don't know the room and I don't know the people, this is their thing. I'm just like, I've only been in it for a couple of years. Like I'm not worthy. So it's
so much better to have
angle.
that mentality though than to go into a new scene and act like you're fucking the shit. Nobody likes that guy.
And I've already got a bit of a name, and I know how comedians are with people that are. I'm getting a silver spoon run at this. Like I'm
skipping a
I
line.
I don't do open mics. I do gigs because I get gigs, and with my amount of years of the art of comedy, I'm very fortunate, and I don't want to. I don't go past my time. I'm always very respectful for everybody because this is their turf, and I want to learn. I just want to be good at it, and if you're good at it, and you have a bad night, you don't go to hospital. You don't have to get a surgery.
Yeah,
you just go to sleep and you wake up and try again tomorrow. So I feel like this is something that scares me, and I care about it deeply. And I also feel like, just like with podcasting, some of my jokes are about being bisexual, and I feel like the more I talk about that, the more people can understand that we're people too. We're regular people too. Mm-hmm. And it's like you fight and you skate, and you like chicks and fire, but you also don't mind a penis from time to time.
Yeah.
People are like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, it's just like, it's what it is. It's not, I'm still me. Like whatever you thought I was before I said that, I'm still me. We're not bad people. We like different people to sleep with.
I think now's the best time for you to be you, if you know what I'm saying, right? Like, I feel like the landscape of society is a lot more accepting than it's ever been of bisexuality, trans.
I disagree.
What?
I think that there was a time there where it looked like it was moving in the right direction. But I think from all the politics lately with the don't say gay and all this stuff, a lot of people that are Republicans, I don't want to hate on Republicans, but there's a lot of people that if they're in power, they're going to make it difficult for us to live the same life as everybody else. You know, like the drag queen shows being threatened by Proud Boys and all that stuff. It's just like that happening, and Kanye and all these other fuckheads talking about stuff. It's making the dumb people out there be like, yeah, what is up with homos and their shit? And I get it a lot because my show, being a fighter and into motocross and all this other, you know, hetero stuff, a lot of people, especially I just posted on Instagram yesterday. I've been crying last night and this morning because a lot of people are like, oh, you know, used to be funny and now all you do is talk about sucking dicks. And I'm like, I try to make sucking dick stories funny as well. I think it's really the bit that they don't like is that it's got gay stuff in it. And but I also get thousands of messages of people where I've helped them come out and be whole. So to me, it's worth it, but it's also a huge weight to carry because I got like 40 people telling me, you know, shut up, fag. And I know it's only 40, you know, and there's 5,000 people that are like, you're awesome. Thanks. Keep going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it hurts, you know. And my mom texted me last night. We don't talk that much, but she texted me and said maybe I should stop talking about gay stuff. And
that's a bummer.
That really fucked me.
Well, I'm here to say,
I'm not sure of myself.
Please stop. Don't stop talking about sucking dicks because I think it's fucking awesome. I think your comedy, it's not all about sucking dicks, guys, just so you know. There's other stuff too. But yeah, like what a better way to talk about it than with comedy, you know, because people are so uptight about it. Like fucking laugh at yourself, make a joke about it. Don't stop.
Can you send me the video of you just saying that? I want to just play it whenever I feel down. That was
I
so
will.
cool to hear.
That was good.
I will, because I think it's important. I think it's great. And our brains do the same thing. I'll post a sexy picture, whatever, and lots of love. And the one person says, you look like a man. You have a huge head. I look at my boyfriend. I'm like, is it really that big? And then I have a complex about my huge head. And I'm like, fuck.
Right. It affects you. I feel like being on there that's the other thing. I think I'm always trying to talk to my fans and trying to help people if I can. But because I read everything, that means I have to get the DMs of the hate. And it depends on the day. Just sometimes I'm not ready to hear about how wrong I am for being me. It lets me down. Like I feel like the human race is letting me down. I'm like, wait, it's 2022. What do you mean we're wrong? Like, or it's uncomfortable for you? Like, so if I talk about like you know, licking pussies and slapping the titties, and you know, I mean, the other night I blew a load on all the ladies. That's funny, but I can't do that to a man. And I don't think people realize they're saying it. I feel like people kind of say it where they're like, yeah, enough of the gay shit. I liked it when you were funny. I'm like, nothing's changed.
Yeah.
I'm still funny. It just, that part is a part of my life. And that's always been my show. Everything in my life is on the show. I don't hold back. That's been the whole thing.
They're just uncomfortable, but do not change because of other people's views or opinions of you. And you know this, you know, fuck, look at you, look at us, you know, it still hurts. We still have hearts. We still have feelings. That's why I started this fucking podcast, because I was very tired of my fellow fighters basically being dehumanized through social media. And I want to put a spotlight on people and kind of be like, oh, we're all fucking similar, or we're very different, but we have similarities.
Right. Yeah, because I never DM'd anybody for their being who they are and telling them how offensive they are. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I don't understand people going out of their way to write something negative on someone else's social media. Like, you got to be a real piece of shit to take time out of your day to make someone else feel bad about who they are when you can just go on and do your own thing. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you
guys?
can unfollow me.
Yeah, yeah, easy,
Yeah.
easy peasy. So in comedy, what's been the biggest struggle? Because, like you said you enjoy it, but I know people bomb.
I don't mind. I don't mind bombing. I feel like, man, what the biggest struggle of comedy is. I mean, I want things fast.
Yeah.
I believe I've got the skills, but I don't have enough reps to be that person where I can do 90 minutes in a room and just kill no matter what country or state I'm in. There's a lot more work to be done, and it's hard to get spots. So I think I'm so close. Like every time I do a set now, a lot of people are like, man, you're fucking killing it. Like, can you do a show for me? And I'm like, yeah, I'll do a show for anybody. I think a lot of people think like little clubs don't ask me because they think, and I'm not trying to shit on Brendan Sharp, but it comes up where people are like, oh, you're like, you're a skateboarder with Tony Hawk, and now you think you're going to do comedy, like, and you're just going to step past everybody, and you don't have to, stay in a room with two other guys because you have money to get your own room. You're not living the life. You're not doing the hard bit at the start.
Do you really get a lot of hate from other comedians about that?
I don't know if they hate me. It's just
Do you feel a vibe?
sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, when I've said like I would totally do your show, and they're like, really? I'm like, what makes you think I wouldn't do your show? And they're like, I don't know, man, pretty big time. And I'm like, okay, that's terrifying. I'm not big time. Like I don't think that at all. And I'm not, you know what I mean? I don't have a fleet of Lamborghinis in the driveway. I pay my rent. That's it. I don't live in this
It's hard for
life
people
of
to
luxury.
fathom because I think people think in order to do the things that you do, some of these crazy, you just fucking showed me a picture yesterday of you underwater grabbing like a python or anaconda
Yeah.
underwater. And it was just like the most epic picture. And then you go and you say, oh, that guy has low confidence. You're like, what the fuck? No way. It's hard to picture you as somebody who's like, oh, I'm just gonna wait here and wait for my spot to go up. Like they probably expect you to be arrogant or cocky with kind of the persona, right?
Yep.
But
Yes.
2
And I'm
seconds of
not.
talking to you, and you automatically know you're more down to earth than that. You're grounded.
Yeah, I did a show last night where I just sat there by myself until the guy was like, all right, you're going to be up next. Here's the name of the guy you have to introduce after you. And I was like, okay, thank you. And then I did it, and then I left.
How'd it go?
Good.
Yeah?
I'm always pretty good these days.
I love it. What's
But I could be way better. I'm like, you're holding your own, but you're not Bill Burr. And people say, dude, Bill Burr is a fucking legend. I'm like, I know, but I'm not in this because I want to be like just some dude
Decent.
that hangs out at the bar. Like
Yeah.
I want to master it. I want to be
course.
really good at it.
If you're in the UFC, if you're not going for the belt, why fucking be in there, right?
Right.
I get
Right.
it. So what's the end goal? Netflix special?
I guess that doesn't. I'm so far away from that it doesn't even
But you've
make
already
any
set
sense.
your high bar with the Bill Burr. I'm thinking I love setting my goals high because even if we fall a little short, at least they're higher than they were if we set them low, right?
I think I mean like having a Netflix special is more like that's like money and fame. I care more about being good enough to have a Netflix special. I don't care about the special. I care about. I would love to have gigs every week, every weekend, and I go everywhere, anywhere. And when I do my gig, I kick ass. Everybody laughs their ass off, and I go home.
Really?
That's what I want. Yeah.
And you wouldn't mind all that travel?
No. I mean, a little bit, but it's the game. I want to be in the game.
Yeah.
And I want to live their life. Like I want to put in the work. I just want the skill, and I want to display it.
And have
That's
the
what
real experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a job. Like
Yeah.
it would be a job. Like every now and then I get a real good gig, like where I get like a, you know what I mean? Like they fly me out and I get paid a lot of money. But just to have it as a career on top of all the things that I've done, the level of success is not as important as the ability. I just want to be, to me, if I can be top 3 skateboarder in the world, have a few MMA fights, race cars. I've done a lot of things, made a giant radio show.
Wrote a book.
Yeah. And then to do stand up and be decent at it, all those things, like when I look back on it, I'd be like, dude, check you out. Like, don't be so insecure. You're actually pretty fucking good at
For
stuff.
sure. Who's somebody that you would love to open up for?
Oh, wow. Well, I feel like I've already done that. I did a show at the Comedy Store where Ryan Sickler had me as the host, and it was Anthony Jeselnik, Christina Pazynski, Tom Segura, like fucking everybody that's a giant.
The who's
and me,
who's.
Tim Dillon, and me.
Oh, fuck.
And then after it, Tim Dillon was like, "Man, you're really funny. You want to do a show with me?" And I was like, "This is the greatest moment of my life. Yes, I will do a show with you, Tim Dillon." Like,
You
I was
won that
tripping
fight, that comedy show. You won that one, and you got a knockout. And he was like, "Oh, that was a badass knockout. Come do a knockout on my show."
Exactly. That's exactly how I saw it.
That's dope. I like it.
Yeah,
So-
just to be one of them, man, that would be the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, I mean, you're well on your way. You're putting in the work, and I think that's what
Yep.
I hear a lot. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I'm got a couple comedian friends, but it's just all about putting in the work, like with anything, right?
Yep.
Awesome.
And then the more you do it, the more you become like a part of the little thing. Because I can tell, like when I go now, I've got a couple friends, couple comedians like, "Hey, Chase." I'm like, "Hey, you know me." Who's somebody that Annie Letterman says hello to me at the Comedy Store, and every time she does, I go, "Fuck yeah,
I'm cool as
Annie
shit.
Letterman." Yeah, she knows. I'm like, "Hey, Annie Letterman, yeah, I'm gonna do some stand up too." It feels cool.
Okay, total pervy question. Who would you want to bang the most in the comedy scene? This may be too close to home, though.
Oh, that's easy. Whitney Cummings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So had that one right away. And
Yeah, I calmed down on it a little bit because my wife thinks it's a bit creepy. So I don't. If she wanted to, I totally would, but I'm not trying to.
Wait, why does
With
Katie
that.
think it's creepy?
I don't know, Katie. Why do you think it's creepy that I want to fuck Whitney Cummings so bad?
I love it. He just asked her, "Hey,
Katie.
wife."
What? Why do you think it's creepy that I want to fuck Whitney Cummings so bad?
I say it's creepy.
Oh, it's not creepy.
It's a little desperate.
It's a little desperate. There you go. See, so I'm backing off. I'm like, I think she's really cute. I think that her mind and being such a talent and so driven. Like I watched her do a special the other day at the Comedy Store. She invited Tony and myself. She's good friends with Tony's wife, but just watching her run the whole thing and be super funny, it was attractive. And I also think that she looks really hot. So
All right. And is Katie doing comedy too?
she did. For the
I
first
saw
time,
something like that, and
she
I was
fucking killed it too. It was
super
in the
cool.
car on the way there. She was like, "You really want me to do stand up?" I'm like, "You're doing stand up. We already told people you're doing it." And then when she got up there, it was like, I never seen anybody's first time be that good.
Really?
Anybody. Yeah.
She had the confidence. She just killed.
Everybody said it too. Everybody, like Dr. Drew was there and he was like, "Man, your wife seriously needs to do stand up."
Wow.
I was like, "I know, right?" Yeah, it was. I mean, I live with her. It fucking blew my mind. I'm not trying to be insulting, but it surprised the shit out of me.
No,
I was like, I know she'll do okay, but I didn't know she was going to be that good.
that's
Like
awesome.
she had timing. It was weird.
That's something that you don't pick up unless you've had lots of experience, right?
That's what usually is the case, yeah. But I think from her being on the show and kind of understanding that, if you're saying something, there's got to be something funny to it,
Mm-hmm.
and you better do it right now. I think maybe that helped her because I know that my show, doing this radio for 20 years, definitely helps me do stand up.
Yeah, and
Definitely.
I'm sure a lot of your fans know, but Katie's kind of like the woman behind the camera for you on a lot of your podcasts, right?
She's my producer.
I love it. I love it so much. Do you think comedy's
cheaper.
gonna help your relationship?
No,
No.
it's not going to hurt it.
Okay.
It's not going to hurt it, but I don't know if
You and Katie just seem so like this, the bond that's there and the trust. I'm like, how the fuck do you get to that point?
Yeah, it wasn't easy.
Really?
More wasn't easy for her than me. Yeah, because wanting to having an open relationship where I want to bone everybody, and Katie's like, I'm super picky. So it's if you do like the hit list, I'm up here and she's here, so it's not even. So that's more, like I said, it's more difficult for her than it is for me. Like if she was sleeping with dudes all week, it would be hard because sometimes it is. Sometimes if she's with a guy, I get jealous.
But you can veto, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I wouldn't veto her.
Have you ever vetoed someone?
No, I haven't.
That's pretty rad.
One person that she talked to that she didn't sleep with, she went on a date with them and they text like love emojis to her and I saw it.
You're like, nope.
And I was like, I don't like that.
He can send you an eggplant all day, but no love emojis.
Exactly.
Yeah,
yes.
I get it.
This is a sex thing, not a love thing.
What has helped you guys kind of strengthen that or grow that trust?
By fucking up and sitting down and talking about it and realizing that like not being completely honest is in the end gonna hurt more. Mm-hmm. So because we do like the people I sleep with, especially if it's like a regular person, I do care for them. Like I used to be different. I used to be able to just switch off and have sex with somebody and it was almost like a drug. I was just getting my dose. But now there's a mental connection. I don't just let randoms blow me. Well, that's not true. But most of the time I don't let that happen. But it used to be the only way I wanted it. Okay. Now I have one guy that's not really, I'm married, so I don't have a boyfriend, but he's as close as it's going to get. And I love the guy. He loves me.
I feel like that's the best
way better that way
because safety purposes as well and convenience and comfortability. That is
terrible because in the gay scene, sorry, gay guys, but there is a lot of, we're men. It's very hard to say no. So we just do it.
Yeah.
And the STDs are fucking everywhere.
There's monkeypox.
And when you get it, you're right. If you get an STD and then you give it to your wife, that's bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's happened. So
damn.
I don't do that anymore. Like I'm Grindr. If somebody wants to hook up, I'm like, we'll be talking for a while before I contemplate that. And you're going to need to show me a test where you test yourself and prove that you've tested yourself and you're on that tip. Because if you're not, it's like, dude, what do I need to test for? I don't have anything. I'm like, yeah, bluffed.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
You have to be as worried about it as me for us to play.
How often do you get tested? And how often would you recommend if you're having consistent and casual sex like you sometimes do?
Well, if you work it, because now I get tested more because if I film with another entertainer, we both get tested before we do it.
Okay, yeah.
The only person I don't get tested for is Katie and this one guy.
Nice. Okay.
Everybody else that I play with gets a test.
This is a pretty broad question, but how has your outlook on sex changed over the years? Like from 21-year-old Jason to 51-year-old Jason?
Well, I think that I'm a lot more considerate. I don't even remember 21-year-old Jason, but I don't think that it was very considerate considering my track record. But I think in the last only couple of years, maybe even 2 years, where I've just given up on trusting people. There was so many people that swore that they would, stay clean, and if they were a little concerned, if they'd hooked up with somebody, they'd get a test. But nobody tells the truth. All the people that I've trusted in that way have given me something. So
really,
I've pretty cut off that. There's just the guy thing. Like most of the time when a guy like, hey, you're super hot, let's hook up. It's just not worth it anymore. it's just a 50-50. And I'm like, it's not worth it.
Yeah, because even if you wrap it up for sex, oral, nobody wears a condom with oral, right? I mean,
And you can still get it from a blowjob.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you would have to put the condom on your dick, and no one does that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So yeah.
you've had a million wild sexual experiences, and you're working a lot right now. You want to share your favorite recent work experience?
Man, what's my fun? Yeah, I would say. So I have two trans friends. One trans friend and a non-binary. They live with each other, and I've always hooked up with one of them, and their partner just recently was like, does Jason want to film with me? And I've always thought they were very attractive. And we shot a couple of weeks ago, and that was everything I thought it would be.
That
was really cool.
And we can catch that on Twitter.
Yeah, a little bit. And they are definitely on my OnlyFans.
Awesome. All right. I'll put all the links at the bottom here, guys, so you can check that out. What's your biggest pet peeve in the bedroom? It could be as small as bad breath or as big as sticking it in the back door without asking.
That's insane. If anybody did that, they would be switched off.
Oh, you clearly have never been a woman before.
Well, that's another thing that I've learned. I think from being a bottom has shown me, because guys have done that where I'm agreeing to it, but when they go to put it in, they just went.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? You can't do that. And then immediately I was like, wait, you've done that to a girl before.
Oh,
Don't
how the tables
ever do that
have
again.
turned. Yeah.
So now it's always like, and you okay? And then we'll go. But yeah, that one is, I'll say that now.
Okay.
But it's like I said, it's never like some random guy that's gonna bone me. That's not happening anymore. It's somebody that I know.
So are you always the bottom?
No, I'm usually the top.
Oh, okay.
I'm like I guess the name. I'm trying to learn the name. I'm a switch.
Switch. Yeah.
Yeah, so I can do both, but I'm a power bottom and a power top. So
What's the difference between a power bottom and a regular bottom?
I'm still in charge.
Got it. Okay.
You're topping me, but I'm still calling the shots.
Okay. Yeah, because I was going to ask you, I like to ask because a lot of fighters on here, right? Very masculine personalities, even the females. Is the bedroom somewhere where you either one, continue being dominant or let your guard down and be a little bit more submissive?
I do. I definitely I am totally into letting my guard down and being submissive, but there's still an element of control in it. I don't know how to explain it, but it's not, I'm never, man, I'm not very girly as a bottom. It's more of a,
Maybe you're just into pleasing your partner.
yeah.
Okay. This feels like the perfect transition into the lightning sex round. Do you remember the lightning sex round from last time?
I don't. I got brain damage. Remember?
Okay. Lightning sex round is just a rapid fire yes or no section where I ask you a question, you say yes or no. But I got in trouble with my fans for going too fast. If you want to elaborate on some of this, feel free. Okay.
Got it.
All right, here we go. Lightning sex round with Jason Ellis. Do you dirty talk in bed?
Yes.
Spank or like to be spanked?
More of a spanker. Being spanked. Maybe a girl could do it, like slap me in the face or something like that. That might be okay, but I don't want a man to slap me.
You know, I should add that, like face slaps. I don't have that on here. Okay.
I learned this from someone was like, slap my face. And then I slapped him and they were like, okay, there's a way to do it where you don't knock me out. And I was like, what? And then you're going to get on the cheek. Because I was doing I would slap your head.
You were doing like slap fighting, like UFC slap. Oh, is it UFC? Is that literally what it is? UFC slap
Might
fight?
be.
Wow,
I don't know.
crazy.
You should know that, not me.
Okay. How about biting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bite the shit out of people.
Choking.
But that's only if you are into that.
Oh yeah, you're not gonna just
Like, I
randomly
don't-
start.
Exactly. I don't just bite people. I
And-
bite people that I know want me to bite them.
And that's the difference between 21-year-old Jason and 51-year-old Jason.
Yeah, I wasn't a biter when I was 21.
But I
just
mean,
for the record.
necessarily just doing things without asking, maybe.
Exactly. Yeah.
More.
Yeah, I definitely either you tell me verbally or you get me to the point where I understand that that's what you want.
Got it. Choking. We talked about this a little.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Threesomes.
Both. You can choke me too. Yeah, threesomes is my favorite.
Threesomes,
or
foursomes.
if you yeah. Always wanted a tensome. That's like the thing that I've wanted since I was probably 30 or something. Like, it just sounds like the coolest thing ever.
How many people have you slept with at one time? The most?
A fivesome is as good as I've done.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
It was pretty good.
It's good to have high set the bar high with 10.
Right. It's not over.
Do you watch porn?
Yeah, a little bit.
Little
Not
bit.
like I don't really sit down and watch it. I'm more like I watch my friends on OnlyFans for like a second. I don't like jerk off to porn anymore. I feel like I don't waste. Man, it's so disgusting. I don't waste my cum on myself. I'm 51. I got a lot of people to have sex with. I'm not wasting it with my hand.
That's a great place to be at. What about any fetishes, like a foot fetish?
Nah. I mean, I've had sex with girls' feet a couple times, and it was more like, oh, okay, cool. I'll try that.
They
It's
liked
kinda
it,
like-
or you wanted to see if it got
They
you off?
liked it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never thought, you know what, I know what I want, and that's fuck some feet. It's never been my,
Yeah.
that's never been my thing. If someone's got really big titties, banging their titties into their mouth is pretty cool. But once again, it's more like that person's got huge titties, and if I ever have sex with her, I'm gonna definitely try those out. It's not like my finishing move or anything.
Got it. What do I
Finishing move. Wow.
like it's a wrestling show?
No, what the fuck?
It's not my money shot. Okay. What about bodily fluid fetish?
Yeah, spitting and peeing. I man, this is a hardcore interview, Ashley.
Yeah, it is.
I drink Katie's pee sometimes. Like, sometimes our friends, we have a couple of girlfriends that we know really well, like really good friends, and we've had some pool parties where we were drinking a lot of water, because you got to do that if you're going to do that. And everybody's peeing on everybody, and that's more of a funny thing. Like, I feel like I'm kind of laughing half the time while it's happening.
I would love to see
Like,
that. Yeah, because it just
I got a
sounds
video
kind
I
of
can
funny.
show you.
Okay, all right. Send me the video.
I'm not sending you the video.
He's like, you have to pay
shit.
$10.99 on my OnlyFans for that.
It's $5. It's pretty cheap.
Wow, really? Why so
Yeah.
low?
Because these people are advising me this is what you do to get an audience.
Yeah.
And then you do the DMs of the hardcore stuff.
Yeah, that's what they told me too. Okay. How
Right.
about role playing?
I would do it, but no one's really asked me to do that. I don't know if I'd be any good at it, because I it's not like a thing that I fantasize about.
Yeah.
But if somebody wanted me to role play, I would be excited about it, because it's like a thing I've never done, and I would obviously want to be good at it. So yeah, but I don't know what scenario someone would bring up where I'd go, oh yeah, okay, I'll be that. Like
Be a police officer and arrest me.
I would do that
All
for
right.
sure.
All right. What about butt stuff on you or a partner?
Yeah, all day.
Awesome. Ever been to a sex club or a swingers party?
Oh yeah.
All of the above.
Katie and I used to go to this weird one in Palm Springs where it's like mainly older people. So Katie and I were way hotter than everybody.
Okay.
But one time we saw these two a nerd couple. Like, the guy looked like Bill Gates and the lady looked like Bill Gates' sister. And instead of having drinks, they both had Starbucks coffees.
Wow.
And Katie and I were like, look at these two. Like, they are the most opposite to us than any other couple could ever be.
Yeah.
And then we started talking to them, and the guy was a scientist, and he made his own lasers and shit. So Katie was really amused by his laser conversations.
Okay.
And the lady was, she had really short hair, and she was, I don't know what she did, but she was also a ridiculous nerd. And she was super into me. And at one point we went into a room together, and I was banging her and he was banging Katie. And I looked over at Katie, and I could tell that like Bill Gates wasn't
Doing
like
it
packing,
for her.
and he wasn't doing it. Yeah. There was a lot of things, but he was so excited that it was cool for me to watch, because Katie was kind of like, this guy was like, oh my God. And I was like, I know, right?
Blown away by Katie. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was,
I know, right?
we had a little thing with them for a while. She would come over to the house, and I would bang her, and she would go see him. You didn't? Oh, she didn't. Yeah, she just talked to him a lot.
Because he, seemed like she wasn't into him, right? That was my question. So, what happens if you have this awesome night plan, and then it turns out the guy's not packing? Like, do you just kind of roll with the punches and do other things, or you're not going to just leave?
Well, I think before it would get to that, when it comes out and it's not very big, I usually go with what Katie is going to do. Like, Katie could take one for the team, or she could be like, absolutely not. Mm-hmm. And either one I will respect.
What an awesome partner to have. Okay, how about lingerie lover?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I don't fetishize about it, but I think it's super hot when girls have a really like sexy, expensive lingerie, like the whole head to toe kit.
Oh yeah,
I think it's really hot. Yeah.
Okay. And then last questions: ever been caught having sex or caught masturbating?
Oh yeah, for sure. I got caught having sex in my parents' house when I was maybe 15, and I had a girl over the fence near the train tracks, and I was boning her, and I heard somebody climbing up the fence, so I jumped off her, and I had my pants around my ankles, and I just like squatted in a ball, and I looked up, and it was my stepmom, and I was like,
oh
man.
No.
And then I looked over the girl, and she was still lying on her back naked.
Oh my God.
And I was like, and she's like, get inside. And I was like, okay. So that was terrible.
Awful. Okay. Well, that was a lightning sex round. Very graphic. Doesn't always get that graphic, but thank you for elaborating, Jason. I loved it. Okay. The next two parts of the show are a game of fuck, marry, kill, and then some fan questions.
Yes!
Fuck one, marry one, kill one. Go.
I think we're done here.
So,
Okay.
Fuck, marry, kill. I'm going to give you the choice. You have two categories. You can either choose from MMA chicks that would kick your ass or tattooed Aussies.
I didn't even know tattooed Aussies.
Oh, yes, you do.
So MMA chicks. I do?
These are MMA chicks.
Well, then MMA chicks for sure. Yeah, let's do that.
Tattoo-
Because that's like my number one, anybody I would want to sleep with who's a celebrity, it would be a UFC fighter.
Okay,
Obviously
here we
not
go.
you.
Perfect. Well, these are right up your alley. You got, who would you fuck, who would you marry, and who would you kill out of Megan Anderson, Beck Rawlings, and Jessie Jess? All UFC fighters. Well, former and some current.
Wait, Jessie Jess.
Jessica Rose Clark?
Right. She's fucking hot. Yeah. Yeah, I really like her.
Would you bang Jessie Jess? And then who's getting
I
killed?
mean, Megan Anderson is
Tall as hell.
such a sweetheart, and also probably one of the sexiest women I've ever seen in my life. Just being that big and strong is. I've always wanted to have sex with somebody who could defeat me.
I'm pretty
It's never
sure.
happened.
Well,
I've had sex with China. I thought she was going to win, but
oh
no.
yeah, you did have sex with China.
Yeah, I like buff chicks.
Awesome.
So what was the other one?
Megan Anderson, Jessie Jess, and Beck Rawlings.
Yeah, I would kill Beck Rollins because, sorry, but this doesn't do it for me.
Got it.
Um,
Tough one
Man.
between
It really is, because I would marry both of them. I guess I would. Man, fuck, that's tough. Yeah, no, I would. Okay, I would. Yeah, I would fuck Jessica because she's hooked up with a skateboard friend of mine, so I don't want to marry her. So yeah, I would fuck Jess and marry Megan Anderson. There you go.
Awesome, got it. That was a fun one. That's it for episode 124 with Jason Ellis. Second time he's been on the show. What an awesome returning guest. He never disappoints. And I really feel special because my podcast is not that big. We are growing, but he's famous as fuck. And I think DJ Zol said he was on Logan Paul's podcast like 4 times, Zol?
Definitely looks like a few.
3-4 times, and that is the biggest, most listened and watched podcast out there. So very appreciative of him for doing our show. And if you guys didn't know, UFC Fight Pass is the world's premier combat sports streaming service with over 200 live events, the largest fight library in existence, original shows, and more. Sign up for 1 year and get half off for a limited time at ufcfightpass.com/sign up. Okay, all you dudes and probably some ladies are going to get real excited for this next guest next week. Her name is Paige 12 Gauge Van Zant. She is a former UFC fighter turned bare knuckle boxer and AEW pro wrestler, and she's just a hottie with a body. So she's going to come on the show, and I think that those numbers will do very well because who doesn't want to hear a babe talk about her sex life? She is married, but they seem like a very open couple. I've seen them do some photo shoots on her OnlyFans and whatnot, so very, very excited to have her on the show. Stay tuned for that next week. And if you guys want to help us out with any, merch and whatnot, you can always go to sexviolencewithrebelgirl.com. If you want to send us an email, it's sexandviolencepodcast@gmail.com, and exclusive fan site at ashleyrebelgirl.com. Thank you guys so much for all your fan questions. They are always so good, and you can always find them on the UFC Fight Pass platform. If you guys have not switched over, come on. It is a great platform with some really, really good content on there. There's different shows and whatnot. You guys will enjoy it, I promise. I love you guys. That is it. Special thank you to audio engineer DJ Zol at DJ Zol on Instagram. We're actually in his living room right now because big things are happening for at Tomorrow Kids Official on Instagram. We are changing locations, and I don't know. Can I say anything about it right now, Zol?
Yeah.
What can I say? What can I tell him?
It's 2 stories.
Ooh, it's 2 stories.
I got multiple studios.
Hit the mic,
and
Zol.
my new company, Zol Media Entertainment, will be running out of there, and just excited. New spot.
Will you be doing, will you have spots for other podcasts or other artists? If so, how can they contact you?
Just go to DJ ZOLE on anything and hit the DM.
All right. All right, guys, that's it for this week. I love you so much. Please check us out on social media at Sex and Violence with Rebel Girl and myself at Ashley MMA. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's guest. I know I did. Remember, be kind, be grateful, but don't take shit from anyone. Talk to you next week with a new guest and more tales of sex and violence. Bye.